Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. In this video, I'm going to be putting in an annual border along my front turf space here in Raleigh, North Carolina, Zone 7B. If you haven't followed along with this project, it's been going on for about 2 years. There's a playlist up here in the corner called New House that you can get caught up. It's a lot of videos to get caught up on, though. At this point, probably 100 plus. Lots of things happening out here during the 2022 growing season. If you want to follow along with that, I've just prepped an area along the turf. All of my kind of edge areas in the landscape. So anywhere I'm going along a sidewalk or along a turf edge, I prep them and plant flowering things in them seasonally. So for the winter, this was a pansy border, snapdragons in other areas, dianthus in other areas. So had winter flowers out here. And now I'm going to summer flowers. Some of the things that go in here are perennial and will come back year to year. Others are not. I had not actually prepped this spot ever. I've like I do for annuals. And the way I prep for annuals is I'll typically incorporate some compost into the ground. That's what I did here. I just used a shovel. You could use a tiller if you want to. I don't do a lot of tilling in this landscape. But the first time you're working on an area, it might be a good idea to mix a little bit of compost into it, either manually with a shovel like I did or with a tiller. And it basically, we're just waking the soil up. We're waking up all the microorganisms in the soil, getting all the good action started. Then I could plant directly into that border now with my annuals with no problem whatsoever. And they would grow great all season, small amount of organic fertilizer. Not a problem, okay? But I kind of like the look of this pine bark across here, which I can find here in the southeast. You may have some sort of bark product you can get in your area as well. And so I put that pine bark across the top of it. Some of that will get mixed in as I plant as well. So, and then I also, in between those two things, re-edged along the edge of my turf. This is zoysia turf. It's just waking back up. Here we are at the end of April, and it's just greening back up. It was dormant during the winter time. So now I'm going to lay my annuals out across here. So basically, I'm reserving in this landscape about 18 inches of space around any edge to do interesting things. I call it clown college design, with lots and lots and lots of color all season. The step back from that is typically either herbaceous perennials, perennials that go to sleep in the winter, bulbs, that come up and have just finished blooming. Like back in here, the alliums are blooming now. Woody shrubs, small trees, all of that kind of stuff. So basically, we're leaving a layer along the edge for flowers or ground covers. I've got lots of ground covers that go into these types of spaces as well. And then we're just layering up as we go back. By adding this compost and bark, I've also elevated the area next to the turf. And when the flowering things are in there, they're slightly angled toward the eye. So if you're standing on this lawn, they really, really show up quite well. One thing I'd like to point out, I'll get questions about what if you have clay, what if you have sand. I do the same prep no matter what it is. I actually have a clay base out here. Over the course of this 2 years, I can now just take this shovel and stick it in the ground several inches, because this entire space has been prepped with compost. It's been prepped with wood chips, hardwood mulch. There's constantly, for the last 2 years, been organic material in these beds breaking down, and between the earthworms, the beneficial bacteria, the beneficial fungi, and the birds out here working on it, this soil is now pretty good. And I was able to do this job with just a little skinny trenching shovel. I used a garden rake for about 45 seconds to rake that bark flat, and now I'm going to use a trowel. So 3 basic tools to do this job. One of the other areas I like to think about when I'm doing these sorts of annual beds is it can be quite expensive. And so I'm going to be using a gomphrena here, all done from seed here at the house. I've got marigolds that I'm going to be using that were done here at the house, giant yellow marigolds. I've got ageratum that were done here at the house. I've got some salvia that was done here at the house. So again, and asters. Good 3/4 of what I'm using here in this space are things that I did from seed here. So I'm going to lay out, this is a light pink gomphrena. And so I've got gomphrena, a few of the salvia that were, a few of the summer jewel salvia that were left over from the back garden. I've got some white gomphrena. Those three things, and some celosia here. Those four things are going to kind of go in a band right along the turf edge, and then there's a few taller things that are going to go behind it. So I'm going to lay out the shorter things first. And again, I'm early morning here, and you can see the sun coming up a bit, but it's early enough in the morning. I feel comfortable taking these out of the trays and just laying them on the ground. I would not do this in the middle of the day. You can lay them out on the ground and do a few at the time in the heat of the day, but I wouldn't lay out 150, which is what I'm about to do if the sun is beating down on them. It just takes so long to get to them that the roots can be damaged from the sun. So let me get started. No, you won't be in the way at all there, Holly. Not a problem. Okay. I laid out the Victoria Blue Salvia, the Summer Jewel Salvia that I had left over from the back garden, the Ping Pong Gomphrena, the New Look Celosia, and I think that's everything that I've laid out so far. All of these things get in the, let's say, 12 to 15 inch range. And so I'm going to put those mostly along the bottom here. The remaining few things I have in the trays that are going to go here need to go behind them. So I don't want to mix those up. So I'm going to do this one first. Again, I'm just using a trowel, quick and easy method, just to stab in there and drop them in the hole. Quick and easy. I think the hardest thing for people to accomplish when you're kind of going for a bit of a cottage garden look is the randomness of it. When I'm putting these in, I'm just grabbing the next one. I put them out here, spacing them out, but if there's two pinks next to one another, or two whites next to one another, or whatever, it doesn't matter all that much. Also, you'll notice there's no perfectly straight line along here. I'm trying to, if I put one near the front edge, the next one kind of goes in the middle of the line, and the next one kind of goes back here. And I'm trying to be as random as I can be, and I'm just grabbing the next one. I trust that I laid them out fairly well, fairly spaced out, and I'll get I just want randomness in it. So behind that, I've got two different types of asters. There's a couple other things in here. There's some seedling dahlias that I did, and there's some milkweed going in as well. That'll be in a. You'll see those soon. But I have two types of asters. These asters will get, a little taller than the things that have gone in so far. I've got some giant yellow marigolds, and I'm going to take like 3 of these marigolds. These actually have a little bit more of a root system than the other things. I didn't point that out, that the other things that I had laid out here really weren't root bound. And this isn't terribly root bound, but they're a little more so than those things were. I'm going to take like 3 of these marigolds, and I'm going to place them somewhere like that. Okay, I'll space them out when I plant them, and then I'm going to come over here, random spot. Okay, this is the hardest thing, is I'm not going to measure this out. I'm just going to put them right there. And and it worked out. It looks like it's worked out. No, it didn't. I thought it was going to work out. We're going to have 3. So I'm going to have 4 in a grouping right over there, just like that. And then in between these groupings, I've got some ageratum. This ageratum will definitely end up bigger. These are definitely more root bound. And so when these go in the ground, I will kind of quickly tear at them a bit to get these roots heading out in a different direction. But again, about 3 of these ageratum will go in a spot like that. And I'll come over here, maybe just 2 will go there. Maybe 1 will go right there. Maybe 1 there, 1 there. Actually, heck, 2 there. We're going crazy today, right? 1 right there, just like that. That's how random this is. I've got these tower asters. I want to put 3 in that spot. I think this is going to work out perfect. I think I have 9 of these. 1 didn't come up, so there's another spot that I need to cover. And again, just trying to bring this color over here. I'm going to spread these out a bit, but again, they're going to go along the back of that area I prepped. And I've got one more aster. I haven't gotten any asters back over that way, so let's do that. And where else have we missing? Right here, here, here is a good spot. And I got 2 more. We'll move those, go over to the other side. These are so well rooted that I was able to do that. Sometimes you gotta squeeze the bottom of the tray to get them, but there you go. So now I'm just gonna pop those in. So the front lawn border is in place. I've got perennials again going behind that. You guys will see those in upcoming either tours or them being installed. I don't know which. There's so much going in the ground. Some of it I won't show in videos like this, but they will be in the weekly tour videos if you're following along with those. And I have several shrubs that are going to go into some of these remaining holes in the landscape as well. But these will get watered in well. Right now it's been a little dry. We had rain a couple nights ago, but a couple days ago, but overall we've been a little dry. So I'm going to water these in. This whole entire area was fertilized back at the end of January, early February with a slow release fertilizer. I'll probably maybe 2 to 3 weeks from now throw out a little more flower tone, garden tone, whichever. It doesn't really matter. But between the compost, the pine bark, the overall improved soil, my very much living soil, I don't need a whole lot of fertilizer to make this super showy. So make sure you're following along with the channel. These things will jump up here during the month of May, and by June this will just be really crazy color. Thanks for watching.